Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I will be bringing to you three articles. The first one is about where Poland stores its gold. Besides Poland, there are two other countries where Poland keeps the gold. Very interesting, very interesting. We will go through this article. Then we will have an article about the Polish government that is warning Ukrainians, and this is the message to men who are avoiding mobilization. We will also read the article from Polish portal that was posted yesterday, and I don't think it's a joke since it was posted on April 1st, the Fool's Day. Why it's called Fool's Day? That's maybe a Sunday video topic. Germany has sent troops close to Russia for the first time in 80 years, and I will show you on the map exactly where those troops will go, to what area. And I have a video, so one more thing, I have a video with Sergei Lavrov in which he is addressing the current recent strikes, Ukrainian strikes, in spite of the peace talks and peace negotiations. Where we start, everyone? Maybe we start with something funny to light up the energy. Since today, April 2nd, as many of you know, Trump announced this as a Liberation Day in the United States. In a nutshell, this is the day when the tariffs kicks in. So I came across this video. I will not play the sound because it might not work well with YouTube, but just to look at the scenery, what's going on. So if you go to my Instagram, you will find it there in the stories. This represents today's trade war. You have United States and Canada. I don't know if this is a real exchange between those two guys. It looks kind of like it is, but in a nutshell, pretty accurate. Let's look to the end of it. Yeah, I mean, okay. So something funny to start the video with. Now let's go to, shall we go to those troops? Let me remove this. Let's go to the German troops that are now in Lithuania. Let's read this. And I don't think it's a joke. Germany has sent troops close to Russia for the first time in 80 years. Like I said, this is from yesterday, April 1st. Historic decision of the German army. The 45th Tank Brigade of the Bundeswehr was formally deployed in Lithuania on April 1st. This is the first time since World War II that German soldiers have been stationed so close to the border with Russia. We have a clear mission. We must ensure the protection, freedom, and security of our Lithuanian allies here on NATO's eastern flank. Brigadier General Christoph Huber said at the ceremony in Vilnius on Tuesday, that's yesterday. The DPA news agency recalled that the German government has committed to permanently stationing a 5,000-strong military brigade in Lithuania in response to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The first troops were deployed in 2024, and the brigade will reach full operational capability in 2 years. The soldiers will be stationed in the barracks at the military training ground in Rudninki. I will show you this in a second. Where is the place? Located 30 kilometers south of Vilnius and near the Lithuanian-Belarusian border. The media added that this is the first time since the end of World War II that German troops will be permanently present so close to the border with Russia. About 150 German soldiers are currently serving in Lithuania under the command of General Huber, and by the end of the year, this number will increase to about 500. Lithuania, which borders Poland, Russia, Belarus, and Latvia, has been afraid of the threat of a Russian invasion and hybrid activities from the Kremlin for years. That concerns have been heightened after US President Donald Trump's administration has sought to be more sympathetic to Russian dictator Vladimir Putin. I think we don't need to really read more of this, but we will go to the map and let me show you where is exactly this place. So let's look. Okay, here I zoomed out already, so to give you an idea, as you can see, Poland is right here, Ukraine is right here, Belarus, Lithuania, and where you see this little dot, red spot, this is where the place is. So Vilnius, how long is about 1 hour drive. Here is where I'm showing you. Here is the border with Belarus. So very, very close to Belarus. It looks like probably about 30 minutes drive, but you have to go around it. So that's the area. I mean, this is just like in the middle of nowhere, right? But that's probably where the base is. So that's what's happening as far as Lithuania. Yesterday, the press secretary, Caroline Levitt, announced that those 4 American soldiers have been found dead. And I think they have been dead since few days already, but that was announced yesterday. And what happened to them, right? Officially, one thing, unofficially, another probably. Now let's go to the article from Poland, not about gold, but about the warning. Because clearly, Polish government is warning Ukrainians. As if I believe in anything they say. Let me just find a way to translate this, guys. One moment. Okay, here we go. The Polish government warns Ukrainians. Message to men avoiding mobilization. Ukrainians who do not want to fight have started to submit hundreds of asylum applications in Poland, according to information from Wirtualna Polska. This is the portal, Polish portal. Officials have already warned that the men will be subject to detailed interrogations. The fear of mobilization and fulfilling civic duties cannot be the reason for granting asylum in Poland. This is the position of the Office for Foreigners. I'm going to read you some numbers and then I give you my little commentary here. In 2024, Ukrainians submitted about 7,000 applications for international protection in Poland, which is a 3-fold increase compared to previous years. Many of the conclusions come from men who want to avoid mobilization. Only by March 25th, this year, March 2025, so last month, they submitted 1.9 thousand, so almost 2,000 applications from people of military age. The office explains that the fear of mobilization and civic duties is not a basis for granting refugee status or subsidiary protection. Men who apply for this reason will be questioned in detail. Poland offers Ukrainians temporary protection, which legalizes their stay and allows access to social benefits, education, and the labor market. A large part of the applicants are men who are afraid of the war as such and being mobilized on the territory of Ukraine. It should be emphasized that the fear of mobilization and fulfilling other civic duties are not a premise justifying granting refugee status or subsidiary protection. Okay, so let me read you here some numbers. The Office for Civic Liberties informed Wirtualna Polska about the number of applications from men aged 18 to 64 who live in Poland. In Ukraine, men aged 18 to 60 are banned from leaving the country, but only those aged 25 and over can be enlisted in the army. As you know, they want, I think, lower it to 18 or even 14 years old. So here are the numbers regarding Poland and Ukrainians who applied for asylum and protection. 2022, 580 people. And I think probably those get it because it was right in the beginning of the conflict. 2023, 620. Last year, 2024, 3,900, so almost 4,000 applications. And this year, so just in 3 months, by March this year, it's already 1.9 thousand, so almost 2,000 applications. If this pace of submitting applications continues in the coming months, in 2025, there would be a total of nearly 8,000 of them from people of military age only. This is more than a sum of all applications for 2024 for people of all age groups. According to officials, some of the applications submitted are an abuse of the protection system functioning in Poland. The applicants want to protect themselves from mobilization and consequently the threat of death in combat, which is quite normal, isn't it? If you think about it, I will attach the link down below in the description box. But let me just share my thoughts on this. I mean, if I were those men, first and foremost, I will not apply for this asylum because you literally put yourself out there, you're on the list, and that's how they can track you. And they can actually, this does the opposite. So you're seeking protection and you will have none. Again, two sides to this, right? One side is that some of those will be used as an example, like Poland is not going to protect it, we're going to send them back, whatever. But then there is enormous potential, enormous ground for corruption, because some people will be able to just pay the right person to be fine. You know what I mean? You pay some money, you know some people, and you have no issues. And then other people who are not in the situation that they can actually afford it will be facing a different future. So if I were any of those people, I will not literally apply for protection. I would probably go to another country or just hide yourself somewhere. Just my thoughts. Now, the last info I have for you is the clip with Sergei Lavrov. This is, it's not really an interview, but it's a question that has been asked by journalists about the current strikes from Ukrainian side on Russia in spite of those peace talks. So let's listen to Sergei Lavrov, because I think it's always good to listen to Sergei Lavrov. And he tends to repeat the unfoldment of what took place to the point where we are and what are the consequences, and reminding people where this journey has started and how it looked along the way. So let's take a listen, everyone.
Strikes on energy facilities. At the same time, we hear contradictory statements from Kiev. At one moment, they are ready to negotiate, and at another, they continue striking our facilities. Could you tell us how things stand with the moratorium now? Is it being observed? To what extent is it being observed? And is it still in force, including for us?
At the very beginning of today's meeting of the Security Council of the Russian Federation, President Putin, before moving on to the main topic of combating terrorist threats, asked Minister of Defense Andrei Belousov and me to report on how our relations with the Americans are developing regarding the Ukrainian dossier. Andrei Romovich Belousov specifically reported on how the moratorium, agreed upon at the proposal of President Trump on March 18th of this year during a telephone conversation between the presidents of Russia and the United States, is being observed. The moratorium is not being observed. All this time, energy facilities of the Russian Federation have been subjected to attacks, perhaps with a break of 1 or 2 days. Belousov listed all the facilities that have been targeted by Ukrainian drones over the past period, including last night. I continued in the same vein. Meanwhile, the Russian army is observing the moratorium, which President Putin ordered to be strictly followed back on March 18th of this year during a telephone conversation with President Trump. You may recall that Putin mentioned that at that moment, 7 drones were flying to attack targets in Ukraine. They were destroyed by our air defense systems and an aircraft on duty in the sky at that time. Since then, we have adhered 100% to this agreement with US President Trump. The list of violations presented by the Minister of Defense of Russia, Andrei Belousov, at the meeting of the Security Council of the Russian Federation was handed over to the US President's National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz. I sent it to the US Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, as well as to our representatives at the UN and the OSCE, so that in their work they could demonstrate with concrete facts what the word of the current Ukrainian authorities is worth, if this can even be called authority. Apart from this topic, President Putin asked for a report on other areas of work with the Americans, including what was discussed on March 24th of this year in Riyadh, when Russian and US experts met to discuss the revival, renewal, and restoration of the Black Sea Grain Initiative. During the negotiations in Riyadh, we highly appreciated and President Putin supported this assessment. The willingness of the US to facilitate the removal of obstacles created by illegal unilateral sanctions that hinder the export of Russian grain products and fertilizers, obstacles that have been causing tensions in global markets, primarily creating difficulties for developing countries, which have found their access to essential food products and fertilizers restricted. We supported the US willingness, which was documented on paper after the March 24th meeting. But we also added specific proposals on how this could be implemented in practice. Such proposals are necessary to avoid repeating the unfortunate experience of the original Black Sea Grain Initiative, which was proposed by UN Secretary-General Guterres. It was approved in July 2022. One part of the package was dedicated to facilitating the export of Ukrainian grain, while the second part concerned the export of our grain and fertilizers. The Ukrainian part worked. All this time, we fulfilled our obligations. However, regarding Russian interests, which were established as obligations of our partners within that initiative, nothing was done. Therefore, what we need now is not empty promises, but concrete actions regarding access to ports, normal freight rates, insurance, and so on. Our American colleagues are currently reviewing our proposals. They promised to respond in the near future. The third topic on which we are working with the Americans is the removal of irritants that seriously hinder the work of our embassy in Washington and the American embassy in Moscow. It is clear that we were not the ones who started creating these obstacles. The Obama administration had already been actively involved in this field. We only responded in accordance with the principle of reciprocity, which no one has abolished in diplomacy. There was a meeting in Istanbul. A second meeting is now being prepared. Contacts are ongoing by phone and via video conferencing. I do not want to make predictions, but we see emerging progress and a willingness from our American partners to remove these obstacles, which are entirely unacceptable from the standpoint of diplomatic practice, and to ensure the normal work of diplomats in each other's capitals.
So this is Sergei Lavrov and the current state of affairs, and I almost forgot to bring you the article. Came across this a few weeks ago, and for some reason I didn't share it because I think so many things were going on that I literally forgot about it. But here it is, everyone. Let me translate this again. This will be about gold. Polish gold, NBP, which is National Bank of Poland, reveals where Poland keeps tons of gold, 2 countries on the list. In 2024, the National Bank of Poland increased its gold reserves by 89.55 tons, so almost 90 tons, reaching 448.2 tons. 75% of the bullion is stored in the Bank of England in London, and the Federal Reserve Bank in New York, according to the official NBP response to a question from economist Rafał Mądry. I'm going to read you this article and comments from Polish readers that all of them are pretty aware of the shenanigans, which is amazing, right? What a progress. Gold yesterday has reached the highest price, I think, ever, and that was $3,142, I think, or $43 per ounce. But let's read this article. In response, NBP, National Bank of Poland, explained that when managing foreign exchange reserves, including gold, NBP strives to ensure a high level of security and the necessary liquidity, which in the case of gold reserves, is served in particular by diversifying the places where it is stored. Here is the exact percentage. So 448 tons that Poland owns, 25%, which is 112 tons, is kept in Poland, and 75% is kept in UK and US, and that is 336 tons. At the end of 2024, gold reserves amounted to 448 tons, and this is approximately 75% that was held abroad in a similar proportion in the vaults of the Bank of England in London and the Federal Reserve Bank in New York. In the second quarter of last year, Poland became the leader in gold purchases and moved up to 12th place in the global ranking of central bank gold reserves. As recently as 2023, it was ranked 22nd, so 10 levels up, higher. Out of 398 tons, we keep 105 tons in Poland, so this was already in the post. And the rest is closer to global markets and transaction centers in London and New York. Now, let me go straight to the comments from Polish people. From Bogdan. I just knew a long time ago that gold in the UK will never come back, seized for war and post-war lent lies, supplies of weapons and materials during the war and after the war. The USA, similarly providing unverified information, is to serve to calm the stupid. Another one from Henrik, which is great comment. So we bought it, but we really don't have it. And here is, so they store it there from where they will never get it back. And there was one more. Oh, this is a good one too. Poland and wise business. These are two impossible contradictions. Okay, let's read one more because this was actually brilliant. There is a lot of Polish gold in Hungary. The government in exile will be financed. Isn't it on point? Yeah, you know, Polish people, not all of them are stupid. Some of you think Polish people are stupid. No, not all of Polish people are stupid. You can say it about every nation pretty much nowadays. But that's all I have for you today. I hope my videos brought you some value. If you appreciate the content I provide, please hit the thumbs up. It's free of charge and it really helps my channel to grow. If you subscribe to my channel, that's also free of charge and I really appreciate it. Leave the comment down below and let me know what you think. All the links will be attached in the description box. And if you choose to support my work, which most of content creators choose that form of support, you can join me on Patreon. I have one, the link is down below, or become the member of my channel. You also have locals support community and follow me on Instagram. Let me show you exactly where to go. And you find all the little clips that I am playing for you. Right here, if you click on the photo, you will have it in the profile. It's Ania_K_44. And with this being said, guys, lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I see you in another video. Bye, everyone.